hardscapes are part of almost every landscape, including paths, steps, and walls. Let's take a look at a few ways to light these elements.
So we built this beautiful new entryway using bluestone and real old brick. And on the face of the steps, we used the CP recessed light in order to make sure that everybody can see where they're going and no one trips and falls coming up the steps.
Well, that's my favorite choice right here, because really the CPs glow slightly, but yet they push the rest of the light on the steps. So you're really highlighting the riser as well as the step.
Correct, and it goes out far enough that you can see all the way across the step.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple of HCs also at the entryway, also just sort of punctuating the entry. The pilasters have two more of the MS fixtures. They shine down the face of the pilaster and show that nice shadow effect on the brick.
I love that grazing technique. It's a great selection.
Yeah. And continuing on through the entryway, we have the HC path lights, which are going back and forth across the pathway to the front door. And then on this wall, rather than just putting a few wall washes for some extra light, we decided to use 3 NPs that would spotlight the jatropha shrubs. And the light shines through them in the evening and cast a really beautiful shadow on the wall. So we're leaving the side garden now, and this bluestone looks so pretty lit at night by the path lights.
Yeah.
These are some large format steppers that we're using to transition from the side yard to the patio area where the barbecue is.
Okay.
And as you're coming through this area, the path lights and the spotlights on this existing tree do a really good job of somewhat lighting that side, but this side felt a little dark. And so we used the MS here on the vegetable box, which is, you think, an unusual place to put one, but it does a great job of highlighting the walkway.
Well, I like how it's very low. You can't see the glare. It's not very obtrusive. Tell me why the surface mount option as opposed to like a recessed.
Because this is a vegetable box, I can't really have anything going inside the box where it could get too much water and interfere with somebody digging when they're trying to plant. Yeah. So the surface mount was the perfect solution.
How much light does it give?
It does a great job. It's got a great spread. We can light up most of these pavers along the way. And this gets us through this area, and as we go around the corner, we have 2 more of the same fixtures, the same MS fixtures underneath these very healthy tomato plants. Great. And they provide additional lighting for the walkway as we're coming around the corner to the patio area.
Now between the 2 lights here, do they hit the center of this pathway here?
They do. They cast a pretty good light. Like I said, most of this is all walking space, so whether you're on the DG or the pavers, it doesn't really matter. Perfect. And back there, if it gets a little dark, it's not too bad because they don't usually garden in the evening, but this is really our main focus to make sure that this is a safe walking area.
Well, it looks like a great spread. You have a very wide spread from that fixture. That's my favorite part.
It is a great fixture.
Perfect. So Sherry, it looks like we're next to a wall that looks a lot older than the rest of the landscape. Can you tell me a little bit about what's happening here?
Sure. The wall was actually an existing retaining wall that's used to keep the slope back. And when we put in the new putting green, we had to find a way to bring in some light so that if people wanted to play in the evening, they could. So the MS wall mounts were a wonderful choice for that purpose. We have 5 of them on the wall, 3 here at the bottom of the waterfall, 1 there obviously at the top underneath the brick cap. And then we have 1 over here on this wall, which is mounted about 2/3 up. When you have walls of different sizes, you have to try to find a way to make it visually work. Yeah. And so when you look at a wall like that, 2/3 up looks about right. Welcome to this beautiful contemporary home by the ocean.
Oh, thank you.
We have this great staircase coming down. And I want to just tell you that in the process of laying out the design, originally the staircase was pushed up against the wall, and when you walk down the staircase, you ended up staring at a window. And when we did the redesign, we moved the staircase over so that as you come down, you end up face on with the front door of the house, which makes more sense.
Yeah, it does.
So part of the design for the lighting was twofold. First was we needed to have fun and it needed to be functional. Perfect. And my client insisted on the fun. So the first part is, if you look over this side, we have a pool and we've pushed the walls back so we get as much space as we can for the rest of the courtyard. Around the pool, we have the PBs up against the wall, doing some beautiful shadow work in the evenings. And we also have the MOs on the wall. We also have some MOs over here. And now back to the functionality.
Okay.
The staircase needed obviously to be very functional and safe. There did two things here for that.
Yeah.
The first is we have the well lights that are in the planter hidden in the bamboo. And they cast a beautiful shadow up the bamboo at night, which also gives us that nice ambient light.
Nice.
The second thing is we have more of the lights on the walls.
Yeah.
And those will highlight the steps, of course, giving us that safety factor.
Yeah, it's perfect. They don't stick out past the wall very far, hidden within the wall, and it's a great selection.
And the color choice was great. So now we've come down to the pool area, and we can take a much better look at the fixtures up close.
Yeah. So what do we have here?
We have here is the MO fixture, and we've used that in a couple different places down here by the pool. And we have two different face plates. One is the traditional square face plate, and this one I believe you call a wall wash.
We do.
Yes, and that allows the light to shine down the wall. And that's really important because we don't want it shining in the client's eyes from across the pool.
Exactly.
So building this area required that we really think ahead, so that we knew that when we put the lights in, we would have everything in place before. So we put the sleeves in as we were building the walls, so that at the end, all we had to do was put the faceplates on.
Right.
Above there, we have the PBs, and those allow us to shine through the plants as we talked about earlier, and cast a shadow on the wall.
Perfect.
And the color of these lights, though, I wanted to go back to this, though.
Yeah.
They have multiple colors, and over there we have a gray wall, and here we have a brown wall, and we were able to utilize two different colors and match more perfectly.
Well, because especially here, when you look at this finish against the wall from across the pool, it looks like it's exactly
It disappears.
the same color.
Exactly.
Right, that's perfect.
Yes. And then we have this muted brown wall, and we have a muted gray wall. So we have grays and browns pretty much around here, but one of the best things about this installation is that the client loves color. So we were able to go ahead with the use of plant material and brighten everything up with reds and oranges and yellows and purples. So we've got that mix of muted but yet still a lot of color going on. But then when we turn the lights out at night, everything pops.
Both of the fixtures are ZDC color fixtures, right?
They are. Remember we talked about fun and functionality? Well, the fun factor is at night, all of these lights can be different colors, so that if the kids have a school function, we can have school colors. If we have a holiday, we can have holiday colors, and they're all programmed in the phone for the homeowner.
Perfect. You know, my favorite part about that is it's fun, right? You can celebrate all the special events and things going on. But when the homeowner wants to just bring it right back to white, they can always bring it just back to white.
One push of a button.
John, we're at the hardscape portion of this property. Tell me about the design of such.
Right, so we chose the PB wall wash. Now we set the PB wall wash as an uplight, 2.5 feet off the wall, and then we spaced them 10 to 12 feet apart.
Okay, and this wall wraps around the entire section of the driveway, right?
It does. It's a large wall. It wraps from the whole driveway around back.
Okay, and 2.5 feet away from the wall, is that far or close, or why did you choose 2.5 feet?
Well, because of our spacing apart, about 10 to 12 feet, we chose to bring them back to get more light on the wall.
Yeah, well, and that makes sense. You have a very flat wall. There's not a lot of texture to show.
Correct.
If you wanted to, if there were more texture, we'd bring them up a little bit closer, show off that grazing effect, right? But I think you made the right call here. What would be a different way to light up this wall?
The different way would be we could use the LF1 under top cap, and we could do them the same, probably the same spacing, but we'd use them under the top cap, the light shining down.
Yeah, a little bit harder to do that. You have to be involved with it.
That's correct.
With the masons and other groups involved in that section. So there's several different ways to light up the walls, and you chose, I think, a great one for this scenario.
Thank you.
So John, I think we're at an uncommon situation here for lighting. Tell me about what's going on.
That's right. We have a driveway parking pad surrounded by nothing but sod.
Okay. So how do you light something in this scenario?
We have the perfect in-grade light. This fixture has 4 separate quadrants, and you can black out individual quadrants to shine light only in your specific areas.
Okay, so since this is probably at the corner, you're just using a 90 degree?
That's exactly right.
Is there any other way to light this?
There's not a great alternative. We're surrounded by nothing but grass, and there's really nowhere for path lights or up lights or down lights.
John, this is a great use of a functional fixture. It adds an element of safety for those around the property, as well as prevents visitors from driving on the turf. So thank you for showing it to me.
Thanks.
John, we're next to the garage here, and I see you have some in-grade lights. Tell me about them.
That's right. We're in the motor court area, and we wanted to get light in between the garage doors on the architecture of the home.
Okay. So why an in-grade versus other options?
Well, the other option would be a down light or an above ground light. And the issue with the above ground is it's kind of dangerous. You know, people are walking in this area, kids are using this area, and you don't want people driving and breaking the fixture.
Okay, well, so in-grade's a great choice for this
In-grade's a
application.
much better fixture for garage.
Yo, yeah, definitely. So what about the distance from the wall? How do you decide that?
You try to find a happy medium. You're trying to show off the architecture, and you're also you want it to be close enough to where it's not in driveway sections.
Okay.
You don't want anybody running over the fixture.
Now, by bringing it close to the wall, is that showing a lot of the texture?
That
on the
is,
wall?
that is. It's showing the texture, and this area of the garage, there's no light, and this really shines out beautifully.
Yeah, you really want to avoid a lot of the glare coming from it, right?
That's correct. You bring it too much high to the top, and you're going to create a little bit of a glare.
Well, this is a great install. I love how clean you did. Where are the wires?
Well, during the forming of the driveway, we had to run conduit, and we ran it straight out, and we have one conduit running 6 fixtures. So down the road, if you ever have a wiring problem, you can run new wire through the conduit.
So I'm sure you had to work very closely with those who were doing the rock, right?
That's correct. Yeah, to get these to look right, you got to work very closely with whoever's doing the driveway or the stonemasons.
Well, you did a fantastic job. Well done.
Thanks.
Hardscape lighting is always easier when planned in conjunction with the installation of the hardscape. If possible, install necessary wiring and sleeves during the construction phase. Surface-mounted fixtures from FX Luminaire can be installed on hardscapes to graze the texture of the hardscape and illuminate the surrounding areas. For a variety of options for hardscape lighting, try FX Luminaire's PO and MO fixtures, which have 4 different faceplate options for several effects. Wall washes are a great way to highlight walls. Install the fixtures within 6 inches from the wall to graze the wall and show off the texture. Pull the fixture farther back for a broad wash on flatter walls. In-grade lights are perfect for illuminating hardscapes in high traffic areas or places where you want to keep the fixtures hidden. With the full range of FX Luminaire's fixtures, you have many options for hardscape lighting. As you can tell, there are a lot of options when lighting hardscape, and FX is with you every step of the way. For more information, go to fxl.com.